What's up, YouTube? Earlier today or yesterday, depending on when this video gets uploaded, I did that sort of troll Bolgash Dragon deck, and the premise behind it was milling a bunch of Bolgash Dragons with Gloom to make Bolgash Dragon as big as possible. And I played a couple of just sort of play hands with the deck, just for shits and giggles, and realized that Gloom was actually a pretty interesting card. Back when it was announced, sort of previewed for Dragon Strike, we thought it was going to be a pretty good card for things like Mono Darkness with Scavenging, Chimera, and whatnot. But that really never turned out to see play. But having done it with this Bolgash Dragon thing, I thought, what if I could reverse engineer the resource management grid for something like Greed Dragons? Instead of playing Logo Scan and lots of spells and whatnot, what if I played a bunch of monsters, milled them all, and recycled them? Because one thing that dragons have that pretty much nothing else in the game has is access to Dreadclaw. And of course, Dreadclaw allows you to add every milled dragon back to your hand. So I thought, what could I do to make this really work? And what I ended up with here with this beta build that I built about 5 minutes before recording this video is essentially a 40-card Greed Dragon build that plays 6 spells, 3 of which being Gloom Tomb, 9 birds, because I want to be able to drop dragons as cheap as possible, 3 other non-dragons, and then 22 dragons that I'm hoping to mill and then revive with Dreadclaw as often as possible. So with that, what we ended up with was a relatively standard-looking Greed Dragon deck, except for the fact that instead of playing a lot of the best Shield Blasts and such in the game as well, we're focusing more on a ton of just monsters, lots of dragons, um, and attempting to reverse engineer the way we think of resource management in the game. So of course we play like the standard light with triple Lux, triple Lyra, and triple Andromeda. Andromeda is really just there to help prolong the game. You're not getting Shield Blast off of her because you don't really play any. The 3 non-dragon, non-birds in the deck were just 3 Wavelancer. It was pretty much either this or Gloom Hollow, and I decided to go with Wavelancer because it's just better in the long run as far as the game's concerned. Either or would do. I just opted for this because it helps with my blue lineup, which is extremely small. Because other than the Wavelancers, I play 3 Nyx and 1 Kendrix. I always like Kendrix in really small Greed Dragon builds to use up like dead Lyras and whatnot. Um, and he helps with the draw, and he's recyclable and whatnot, so he just felt like a decent fit for this particular type of deck. But of course we have the 3 Nyx, and we're going to be drawing off of them, but that's the only way we're actually really drawing in this deck is off of Nyx. But if it wasn't for the fact that Nyx gives Dragon Song, I potentially would not have played blue at all in this. I simply played Nyx because I want as many copies of Dragon Song on board as possible. Into Fire, we play the 3 Hyperspeeds, 2 Spellbane, 1 Unchained, 1 Billion Degree, 3 Infernus the Awakened, 1 Immolator. I would probably play 2 if I had a second one. And then 1 Shade Blaze as a tie into the darkness part of the deck, which consists of 3 Umbra to finish off our 9 birds, 3 Dreadclaw, because we want to be recycling dragons out of our grave as much as possible. And the other cool thing about playing Dreadclaw and Max like this is Mesmerize and Skull Shatter and Grip of Despair and Razor Kindred Puppet and all those things. I don't really care if you're hitting me with all of those, because I'm just going to put dragons in the grave, you're going to be putting my dragons in the grave, and I'm just going to bring them all back. We play the 3 copies of Gloom Tomb, which is the entire reverse-engineered resource management ideal for this particular deck, and 3 Terror Pit as the only real form of protection and or shield blast for the entire deck. In theory, I think this is going to work, but like I said, I just built it. There's literally no testing in this. It's total theory, and I just wanted to put it together and put it in video and get it uploaded so I can start discussing with you guys about it, what you thought, the way you think it might work or what might go wrong with it. If anybody's tried anything similar, I don't know about it, but if you have, let me know. What were your experiences with it? There is one other idea that crossed my mind that I haven't really traveled down that path yet, as far as Gloom Tomb's concerned. I'm only playing the 6 spells in this entire deck because I don't want to be milling spells with Gloom Tomb. I want monsters only. However, if I were to bump this up to like 50 cards and sort of make it a little closer to control, I could potentially play like the Piercing Judgments and Root Traps, as well as Terror Pits, and I would play like Mesmerizes. And at that point, there's enough spells that I could potentially be milling off Gloom Tomb. I would also want to play at least 2, probably 3 copies of Keeper of Dawn, and that way Gloom Tomb can reverse manage getting me resources through Keeper as well as it does monsters versus through its own effect and through Dreadclaw. But the Keeper route I haven't really tested yet, or haven't really thought through yet, simply because I think that's a little too much going on for the deck to maintain any sort of consistency for itself. I may or may not be wrong with that, but it just isn't something that I've thought deep enough about to know if I think it's going to work or not. This particular build in general, though, I actually think will work. I plan on testing it, and I'll let you guys know how that testing works out for me. Like I said, if any of you guys have done anything like this before, let me know what your experiences with it were. But as far as I know, I haven't seen anybody around Dojo or anything talk of this before. Um, it's an interesting train of thought that sort of goes against the way we normally think about how the game works. And that's sort of what sort of uh, uh, drew me to it as I was fooling around with that Bolgash deck. So, anyways, let me know what you guys think. Hit me up on Facebook. Hit me up on my gaming page, which is also on Facebook. I'm sure some of you have seen it. I know a couple of you have liked it. Message me here. Just let me know what you guys think. If you have any ideas, something that I may have overlooked for the deck, let me know. And let's see how this works out. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.